Hello everyone. Let's go over the concept of a foreign key. Now, my objective here for the next few minutes is not to make you an expert on what a foreign key is. It's certainly a topic that's up for more discussion when you dive deeper into database programming. So really just for our purposes here, I want to sell you, I say that a lot, on the concept of what a foreign key is in a database. Now, a foreign key is a type of database constraint. Now, a database constraint, again, is a rule that we're putting on the database that kind of enforces, what is allowed to be entered into the tables and what is not. So what a foreign key allows us to do is it allows us to relate two tables together. So I have an example here on my screen that I'm going to show you that has a foreign key, and I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how it works. Now, we have two tables here. We have an employee table and we have a department table. Now, logically think about this. And we have employees. Now, employees have, make that a little bit bigger. Employees have, they have an ID, they have a name, and they have a department ID. Now, think about the department ID. The department ID could be like 100 for HR. Department 200 can be engineering. Department 300 can be sales or whatever. Now, in real life, these department IDs need to exist, right? For example, if I work for Department 100, Department 100 has to really be part of that company. Or let's take another example. Like in class, you might have a class that's in CIS101, which is a class designation. So, that class has to exist somewhere. So in here, what we have is we have employees and we have departments. So what we can do is we can relate these two tables together. We can say, for example, employees have work for a department, and that department must exist in this table. So when we relate two tables together, such as here, employees and departments, what we do is we link them. It's probably not the right term, but we logically kind of connect them with what's called a foreign constraint. Now, what you see here on line 11 is the line of code that we put in to relate two tables together. So on line 11, we have, department ID. It's a department ID column. And what we're saying here is a department ID references the department table, the department ID column. Again, I'm just selling you on the concept of this. This is something that you would pause the video and you would think about this and you would play connect the dots. It's not something I expect you to get immediately. And that's one thing I want to emphasize about when you're learning coding. Some of this stuff takes a little bit to sink in. You got to get your hands around it a little bit, and you got to try it out with some insert statements just to test it. But I'm just going to sell you on the concept of this. So the concept of this is we can have employees, and the employees can have a department ID that must exist in the department table. That's really all it is. So basically that's saying is we cannot insert an employee, with a SQL insert and give him or her a department ID that does not exist in the department table. Now, just like a primary key constraint, a foreign key constraint is a design consideration. That's something that you would determine if you needed to do if you wanted to relate two tables together. You don't need to use foreign keys, but you probably should, because what happens is it allows some really decent what's called data integrity, meaning we don't want employees that have departments that don't exist. Just like a primary key doesn't allow, in this case, an employee ID to be duplicated or a department ID to be duplicated. A foreign key constraint just means that a department ID here in the employees table must first exist in the department table. Now, that's really all I want you to understand for now. Like I was mentioning just a couple minutes ago, you're going to have to kind of play with this and test it just to kind of get the gravity of this and how it really works. Just like with anything that you do with programming. It's not something that someone explains it to you and you're like, oh yeah, that's great. Yeah, I understand that. If you're scratching your head saying, wait, what, how does this actually work? That's probably where you should be. Again, this lecture the short demonstration is really a beginner kind of introduction to foreign keys. It's by no means a deep dive into it. So if you understand the concept of this and you want to play with this code example and get it working and work with insert statements to see how, the insert statement would, fail. For example, if we were to write an insert statement that would insert employee with a department that doesn't exist, you would know that insert statement would not succeed, because what we've done here is we've said, you know what? Do not allow to have an employee with a department that does not exist in the department table. That's really all I had for you with foreign keys. So thank you for watching. Thank you for making it this far. And I bid you all a very well rest of the day. Thank you.